Okay, this is a new guide video. I haven't made one in a while. This guide is going to be a bit more advanced compared to the other ones. In general, my guide videos have trended towards being very general, in the sense that they're about general strategies, general ways to view the game, with the actual implementation sort of thrust upon the watcher. That is to say, I don't say you have to do this build order, or you have to do X, Y, Z in that order, because that's not very helpful. It leaves players poorly positioned to actually use those strategies in the game, because there are no general cases in Civ. Every game is different, every game is unique. What you want to do in one game is completely different from what you're going to do the next. And so I've sort of avoided doing very specific topics or the videos that get into the sort of more micro elements of the game. It's been very focused on the macro. This guide is a bit more about the micro, about how you can sort of squeeze the most out of every turn. Because this is what the best players do. The best players spend very little of their time thinking about the macro, because they already have, in general, a good grasp of the game, good sense of what to do in any given situation. So they're not really thinking too hard about, what tree do I go, where do I settle my cities. It all comes naturally, and most of their turn is actually focused on doing small things to get the most out of each turn. So much to the point that you might think, well, what's the point? What's the point in doing any of this? Because it seems so marginal. Like, take for example this move I just made with my warrior. If you're a new player, you might think, oh, what's the matter? I'll just move somewhere. A more advanced player is thinking, okay, where am I on the map? Am I top, middle, bottom, left, right? Where can I move my warrior to get the most information? I saw these mountains up here. I saw this hill and this forest, and I thought, I'm not getting much information if I go this way. I'm going to go west, look for open ground. And there you have it. If I am correct, I've got desert here. So this suggests mid-latitudes, maybe up here. So I would reckon and guess that I'm on the top of the map here. So I will want to be setting this guy up to get as much information as I can. Again, a good player thinks of this very quickly. But a lower level player might be already so concerned about, oh, am I going tradition? Am I going liberty? What am I doing? But a good player sort of is not spending so much time on that. They're more thinking of the micro, because they've got the macro sense already figured out. I hit mining first, do 2 scouts. That's macro stuff. I've already decided that way before. What I'm spending most of my time on is things like this. I can see that I need 4 more production to get this scout out. I grow in 2 turns. If I work this tile instead, I still grow in 2 turns. And when I grow onto that hill, because I'm on production focus, I'll get an extra 2 hammers. That's that scout out in 2 turns instead of 3. A small thing, but it makes a difference. These are the small things the sort of the best players are doing. They're doing the most they can every turn to get those small little advantages, because over time they add up. Think of it if you know anything about chess. A grandmaster doesn't win the game with any one individual move. You are accruing in small, tiny positional advantages over the course of the game. And that's what the best players in Civ are doing. Myself, Miota, Arvius, these sort of top tier sim players like Grabo or Sierra. They're doing everything they can each turn to get that little extra advantage, because over time that turns into a big advantage. So I get this scout 1 turn earlier. That's 1 turn extra of sight, just 1 turn extra of movement. Maybe that gets me a ruin that I otherwise wouldn't have. Speaking of ruins, I didn't take this ruin last turn, because now, if I get a population ruin, it'll be more valuable. Again, a small thing. Turned out to be nothing, in fact, because I got 70 gold instead. Like a small thing, but it's not nothing. It adds up over time. And that's what the good players are doing. The good players are getting every last advantage. This looks like the northern coast to me. I see tundra up here, so I'm going to send this guy east instead. I'll still send this guy around to pick up any ruins up there. My next scout will go south. Okay, that's probably a city over there. It's a nice wonder. Okay, I've got mining. I know I grow next turn. I've got gold. I'm going to buy this iron tile for that 1 extra hammer when I grow. Again, small thing? Yes. Worth it? Yes, absolutely in my mind. These 1 hammer differences actually do add up, especially in the early game. Again, I'm growing next turn, so I don't want to take this ruin just yet. It could be a pop ruin, and that'd be very, very sweet to get to 4 pop immediately. And it is a pop ruin. So there, big advantage gained. Now instead of having 4 or 5 turns more to grow, I've reached the population I'm going to stay at for building settlers. I don't have to grow again. I can just stagnate, work max hammers, get my stuff out quick. I want a worker, maybe 1, maybe 2. I've got a lot of chops here, and I think I'm going tradition. A lot of growth here. I could take Sun God. We'll see how many cities I'm going to plant. Just depends on whether I can sustain enough happiness for the growth. Okay. Archer ruin, that's nice. I'm moving my units to try and overlap to get as much information as I can. It's a very nice capital. Okay, there's 1 neighbor. It's a city-state I could steal from. Another city-state right there. Another pop ruin. That's glorious. I'm going to move here to chop this hill for 2 reasons. First, I know I've had a unit just here. There's no barb camp here. It's a safe tile to move to. Second, it is a hill. I want more hills for building my settlers. And it'll be a nice chop once I buy the tile. Another neighbor. These cities aren't good to steal from. They've got awkwardly placed luxuries. Maybe that is. I'm gonna buy this tile so I don't forget it. There's a worker there. It's awkward to steal multiple times here though, because there's a camp here and it's on a hill. I'm gonna see what. Okay, I'll take this worker instead. It's better. I'll get 1 more worker just because I want to. I don't have that many hills to work here, so I want to have my tiles improved. And I am at 5 pop, so things will go pretty quickly. Next, I want to chop here. This worker will move there. This worker can come and improve the cocoa. I'll step back here, no reason to take a hit. Now it's time for settlers. Is the max possible. Wouldn't be terrible to build it by a hill. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I can buy the sheep once I grow it here. That'd be good enough. City number 1's up there. For sure, because it's got the wonder and it's got 2 luxes here. There's also a city here. City down here for sure with the marble. Then probably a city here as well. I see 5 cities, that's good for tradition. Chop this. And grow there first. I thought I would have grown there, but it's fine. I could have bought it for the extra hammers, but I'm thinking I want to save my gold a bit. I've got plenty of tiles I'm going to buy. Oh, it did grow there, so I can buy that sheep. Perfect. And I'm thinking I need a worker, a scout to escort up there. I need masonry for this marble. I need bronze working for the jungle. Boy, there's a lot of horses here. I still want to settle here, I guess. It's a shame to lose those horses. Could settle on the T. It's not a bad spot. Depends if the CS go to these tiles, though. Okay. I could move up here, but I've got nothing to escort just yet. So I'll move there for safety. I like to be safe with my escorts. I like to improve my tiles for building settlers with, which is especially it yields a lot of benefit to have those tiles improved while you're building settlers. The next city will go right there. That clears the barb camp, takes some of the pressure off me. I'll move this to here to chop. I'll move that down. Settler. That's safe, so I can move this down. I'd like to steal again. Bronze working. See, that was a mistake there. The reason why a lot of good players tend to sort of press their improvement tiles every turn is to avoid mistakes like that. I could have got an extra hammer if I had reassigned that before. Not the biggest deal, but I'm supposed to be doing a careful play here. Get a worker, get a trade. I need to bring this unit up. I want to bring this unit over to improve the marble. I don't need to improve this horse right now, rather improve the iron, but you can see what I did here, in that I started on the horse, I wanted to move to the iron. Instead of using all my movement that turn, I moved one, put a turn of improvement in, then move to the iron. That's a more efficient way of using your workers. Because I got one turn of improvement that I otherwise would not have. Their deal. That's unlucky. You can blame Mr. Temujin for that. Have to bring this back maybe. Huh. It's really unlucky. What I'm gonna do here is I'll bring this here, and I can use it to sucker a shot while I move that back. Quick Sun God. There's so much food here. And I wonder if that allows me, with this policy, to get a little more production here. 16, 17. $17 seems best right now. I'll take the insta-heal, I'll need it to move there. This next one will go over here, but I'm lacking an escort unit. So what I'll do is I'll get a scout quickly. Keep that one turn. Settle. Worker for the chops. Now I can move this over to improve the marble. I'll keep it here just in case there's a barbarian here. You don't, when you're moving through rough terrain, always be careful. You can be more cautious. You don't have to use all your movement up every turn. This guy's going to go over here, so once again, I move the one tile, put a turn of improvement in, and then I'll use my full movement next turn. Then back to settlers. 17, 18. And I'll play it safe here. These two tiles got grabbed, so I won't be settling the city here. I'll settle the city here and it'll be my last. 5 cities is fine, especially with Sun God. It's going to be a lot of growth. I'll be tough for happiness. This is a bit risky here. I'll move my scout here just to double check. It's all clear. Oh, that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. What I'll do is I'll move this up to capture that back. Move the scout down to camp for another worker. The reason I'm settling this city last is it's got nice tiles, it's got shops, and it's not on a river. So it won't be behind that much in infrastructure. It can grow fast, it's got hills, it's got shops, compared to this city, which is very flat, very much lacking in production. Well, it'll need its borders to grow. So this is a better city 4th, this is a better city 5th. Once again, I'll move one tile, start a farm, then I can improve the cow next turn. It's a more efficient use of my worker. Buy this tile to start improving it immediately. I'll go camp for another worker. This will go right into a granary because it's so short on production. Okay, so I'm done my settlers. I can go back to working growth. I'll get one more worker before granary. Granaries aren't that important here. I only have the one granary tile actually in my capital. Not like I can complain. This is a gorgeous capital. That's done improving. I'll move this down to improve the ivory next. Oh, I got another horse here. Pretty nice. I'll work this tile from the city. It'll just help it catch up a bit. I've got other nice tiles to work here. Or, no, I'll work the 4 food instead. It'll go fine. This guy goes down to chop. It'll improve the ivory first, probably. That's done. We work the tile. One more worker. I'll start improving, or I'll finish improving these ones I've already started. It's the most efficient use of my workers. There's that worker I've been waiting for. I can actually have that improve the ivory. That should survive. And actually use the warrior to steal from now on. Good on happiness. Things are going pretty smooth now. Oh, it did die. That's unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. You can see how I always reassign my tiles the turn before a city grows, so that it's always growing into the most production heavy tile. Generally, one thing I see newer players do that's kind of a mistake is they put too much emphasis on growing cities early. Like, I could be working this tile instead of this tile, but getting that worker out immediately gets my chops going faster, which gets my granary out faster. I don't necessarily need to work production or work growth straight here. It's not necessarily going to be an improvement over working a mix of production and food, especially for a tree like tradition where so much of your food comes from finishing tradition. You know, you don't need to race to grow early necessarily. The city will get another worker just because it's got so much chops. The city is very nice. So things are going pretty smoothly here. I get my granary now. This is about the end of where I want to get to. This is not supposed to be some long, super in-depth guide. This is just a sort of example of what the best players are thinking about when they're actually playing the game. They are actually, you know, paying this much attention, looking, how can I get, you know, I can grow that one turn faster by working this tile. I can get some extra hammers by reassigning this tile to this city. That's 2 extra hammers to grow into that tile versus to grow into the bare hill. You know, these are actually things those top players think about when they're playing the game. And they're not, it's not irrelevant. This does provide you concrete benefits over the long term. So again, I want to grow into this tile in this city, so I'll actually reassign from here. Take it from this city, reassign this nice tile to this city to help it catch up a bit. Great. I'm working the production here to get this granary out because it'll really benefit. It's got 2 nice tiles to grow from. It's not a race to get it to the highest pop as soon as possible. Things are going very smooth. This is a very well played opening from me. Again, I did this with a generic Civ. You know, Turkey has no early bonuses. This is just the sort of start that's available, the start that's possible if you just are paying attention to the small things. Even I sort of raced through this kind of quickly because I didn't want this to be, you know, a 30-40 minute video. I wanted this to just be a quick primer on the kind of things the best players are looking for. They're looking for, how can I grow 1 turn faster? How can I get that worker out 1 turn earlier? How can I rearrange tiles to make sure I'm getting the most food in production every turn? How can I squeeze out those very, very, very small benefits every single turn? Because it matters. Civ is a game that is won, you know, on the margins. There's been so many games I've played where, you know, it's just that 1 extra unit, or it's that 1 extra turn, or it's something so small that is the difference between winning and losing. That you know, this is why the good players pay so much attention to this, because you play enough Civ, you're gonna have those moments where you think, oh, if I had just been a little more careful, if I had thought a little more, you know, I could have won this. Because that's what the really good top players play. You know, the difference between 2 good players and 2 good starts can be very, very small. And it really does come down to who gets those small advantages, who's best able to micro these things that might seem very, very insignificant. Again, going back to that chess analogy, when you have 2 grandmasters playing against each other, they don't blunder. They don't make big mistakes. When one wins over the other, it's because they've accumulated so many small advantages over the course of a match. In Civ, it's the same way. If I beat another top level player, it's because I've just been doing these small things correctly, and over time, getting turning those small, tiny, seemingly insignificant bonuses into something concrete, some sort of concrete advantage. I get to land ships 1 turn earlier. I get to labs 2 turns earlier. I get to nukes a turn earlier. Those very small things that really do boil down to how well you manage your workers, how well you manage your tiles, how well you scout, etc., etc. I think that's it. I hope people understand what I'm trying to get at here. I wouldn't necessarily get too hung up on this if you're a beginner. You've got to worry about the bigger picture stuff first. This is for, you know, players who think they're good or goodish and are trying to sort of unlock that next level. Going from you know, sticking around in those better lobbies to actually having chances to win.